order. Call to order this working session, Bath County Board of Education, March 24th, 2025, 5:30 p.m. Discussion of tonight's agenda. Discussion of consent items.
On the consent items, again, 5A is the minutes, 5B, February financial statement, 5C, claims, 5D, superintendent expenditures. Those are all repeating each month. For 5E, grants, asking for an FY 2025 seed grant. This working with WEP Partners to grant to support effectiveness for principals, a training program to help emphasize literacy and math skills for educators in grades K through 4 and community engagement. And the funding will help support paid stipends for participants, provide them with highly qualified professional development, and help pay for advancement in their career pathways. There's also an FY 2025 seed grant for Project Link. It also is for partners to support effectiveness for teachers, a training program to help emphasize literacy and math skills for educators in grades K through 4 and community engagement. Funding will help support paid stipends for participants, provide them with highly qualified professional development, and help pay for advancement in their careers and pathways. 5F, travel. There is an addition on the travel if the board will accept it. Mr. Gibson just told me it was left off, and I've added it onto the online rationale. That is for Sunrise Productions. That's what he uses for his t-shirts and things, to go to Kings Island on May 8th. That'll include Mr. Gibson and 7 students. 5G, use of facilities. The high school is asking for approval for a musical, and a summer day camp is asking for the special needs of Kentucky for Crossroads Elementary. 5H is review of financial reports. 5I, pay bills through March 31st. 5J, acceptance of bids. Those are also repeating each month. 5K is asking for the renewal of our MOU with Pathways to allow them to provide services to our students within our buildings. 5L, amend student fees. Recently added summer classes for arts, humanities, health, and physical education at the high school are going to be offered, and there's a $35 fee for that, so asking for your approval. Those are the consent agenda items.
Do we have funds for any student that might want to do those summer classes and they don't have money to pay?
I'd have to ask Ms. Combs on that.
Did you hear me?
It's on the fees, the $35 fees.
Is there any, oh, okay.
We have some board setup fees for the high school that are allocated to the high school each year for different classes. So we would have to check with Lana, the bookkeeper, and Ms. Brandenburg to see if they have any of those funds left available. And if not, Brisky might be able to help, or the board could pick up.
Thank you. Construction update and change orders on Bath County High School with Pax Walker and Ross Tarrant.
Hi, everyone. So we'll start with the high school and LAVEC overall project progress and change orders on the agenda. We do want to have some time to talk through middle school, and there's a potential request for a change order for LAVEC. So I think we'll start with the actual change orders and progress update, and I'll pass it over to David to start that off.
Yes, I'll be brief on the progress. Things are going well, but we do have several change orders to discuss. But progress, is confined to the gym. We're down getting to that. We are doing some punch list work as well in the LAVEC and some other areas of the high school. But things are moving very well in the gymnasium area. We're doing some demolition, installing some mechanical units. The should be installing some duct here this week or next week, get that going, but, yeah, progress is going well. All right, that's where we are.
David,
Yes.
do you all have a proposed end date for the?
Well, we're trying to hit, I think the June 30th date is a good date. Yes, for the high school, yes. And that's what we're shooting for.
Okay,
Yeah, and we feel good about that
Okay.
date right now.
thanks.
So, as David mentioned, the high school this summer, LAVEC, the goal would be that everything gets closed out pending one potential change order that we'll talk about next. But LAVEC should be closed out next month, assuming that no additional scope is determined to go into the LAVEC project. So that brings us to a recommendation or suggestion about how far the remaining contingency dollars want to go to add more improvements to the LAVEC project before we close it out fully. There's been some investigation with Phil and discussions with Brittany about how we can maybe use some of the contingency to pay for additional pavement improvements. Pavement along the drive that starts at the entry of OES and goes all the way towards the high school and around the bus garage building. It's something that there's already contractors with scope they've already done around the high school that could benefit from them doing more work as it expands closer to OES. So that's why we're thinking it would be a good idea to do it now. Otherwise, when the LAVEC project closes down and the high school project closes down, the remaining contingency money goes back to the district, but you would have to find another way to address your asphalt improvements as a separate bid, a separate contract. And so that's why we're bringing it up to your attention now, that if you have the, looks to be like a site plan aerial image in your backup documents for OES, it shows like 3 regions kind of highlighted. Those are currently the areas that Phil had looked into getting repaired and priced. We just don't know if the board feels that we should develop the entire entry parking area and the drive connecting to the high school and the bus lot area for pavement improvements, or if there's a portion that we should focus on before we spend time to design the drawings that would represent that change order moving forward.
Jonathan, has anybody brought up anything in regards to the high school for the cafeteria, where that back in the cafeteria where they're cooking, where that leak is coming through?
That's, yes, and that's definitely on the agenda for tonight.
Okay.
But assuming that that change order proceeds and any other change order adding to the project proceeds, that chips away at your remaining contingency for anything else like additional pavement improvements. So yes, we have that for the agenda this month. We're just asking, do you feel that it's worth for the design team and CM to develop additional asphalt improvements around the bus garage, the drive through OES, and the front parking lot of OES, knowing that we have contractors already on site to do the work? Or do you feel that the contingency is not needed for using on the asphalt improvements?
How much contingency do you think we will have left?
Depending on all the change orders today, your LAVEC for sure, we're roughly around 170,000 remaining. And then the high school, I think it's around 205, maybe 200,000 remaining. So all the scope potentially identified for pavement improvements, we're getting pricing from the contractor on site already, but other contractors have been consulted in saying that all that work would be about 360,000 for full pavement work across the entire OES and bus garage site. So,
Do we have bids for that kitchen repair?
yes.
And how much is that?
The kitchen repair, so switching gears, that is the document for PR 34 hopefully in y'all's packet. There's, so roof drains, starting there. It's a cover sheet that's from Blaze. Hopefully that helps narrow it down, but
Is that what you emailed earlier?
Yes.
Is that's on your, yes, it's right beside you on your right.
Okay.
Right, on your right.
Yeah.
So
'Cause
for
his whole thing
that-
is leaking. These pictures here.
Tonight, you're also approving
How
several
much?
credits.
That's
Yeah,
it.
so actually,
Fix that whole thing.
yeah.
I placed both the scope that you sent, that page is the cover page, and so Blaze would be the third page
Okay.
on their form.
Yes.
Okay. So you're looking at 10,295, and it would fix everything that's back there in that cafeteria that's wrong with, leaking through the roof line there?
That exact issue, yes, the 10,295 would be to rework the second story brick that is allowing water to go behind, go down the wall, and then get into the structure and drip everywhere. That 10,295 would be able to address that. The separate roof drain issue outside of the cafeteria, that is priced above it, but yes, the leak issue in the kitchen is 10,295.
Okay. Now, Tim, would that, because we're looking at a total of 17,000, say 17,600 to fix all of it. Is that everywhere that it's leaking back there in that kitchen?
Yes, the PR would include the boiler room, yes.
So that would it would fix it 100%? Okay.
One clarification, Ms. Bowling, is that total, meaning the roof drains, depending how far you want to go, plus the flashing, the minimum would be about 18,000 just for fixing 3 drains and the leak in the kitchen. If you all wanted to do all 6 drains in that same lobby area, that would be the combination of the 7,500 plus option 2's 7,100, and then the 10,002. So net
Okay.
would be about 25,000.
So but they are all leaking, right? Okay, now Jonathan, when he said the additional 3, which 3? Is it the 3 roof drains on 1 or on 2
It's 3 roof drains listed as option number 2.
that are not leaking?
Not leaking, but they're in the same roof area that the 3 that are, and they're the same age. So we included them in there because they're not leaking today, but maybe for peace of mind, since they're about the same age as the ones that are leaking, if you all felt that it's worth replacing them now or hoping that they don't leak 2 months from now or something like that. And the best diagram to see that is, I think it would be if your Blaze cover sheet is page 3, then it would be page 4 that you see 2 roof plans and 2 details.
Okay.
The roof plans cloud the 3 as option 1, and then the 3 that are option 2. But just so you know, they're in the same roof area. You do not have to do all 6.
Would it give that whole area, would it be a 30-year warranty, or what's the warranty on that work?
I would have to look at the specifications we have already for the other roof drains in the project. We would use the same one, and I would have to find what was
That's fine.
specified for that. But I can get that answer to you after this meeting. I can send an email so that you all have that answer.
Okay, I'm going to go back to Tim for a question here. Do you think the other 3 drains need to be addressed right now while they're here?
Here you go.
Basically, the third one that I had, the process that I asked them to do was put a liner in, and then
Could we just put a liner in those other three? Would it be possible to just put a liner in the existing ones that are not leaking? But they're gonna replace those too. Okay, let me ask you a question to clarify, because maybe I misunderstood, because I don't hear real well from the distance there. So will we be putting new liners in them or replacing them?
Both. The roofer recommended that the roof drains on top of the roof get replaced.
Okay,
Then on the underside, also install a liner and ultimately make sure that there are no penetrations that are causing for more leaks to come inside the building from under the structure. So we're trying to attack it from both ends.
okay,
So install a new roof drain on top, yes. And then the liner pieces, when you're looking up at the structure, make sure that part is also watertight and sealed.
okay. Does anybody else have questions on this while we're on it?
So kind of deviated a little bit from the asphalt question. So
I was just gonna say, you do have some credits on there tonight as well.
We have credits.
Change orders, right? Yes, you got some pretty good credits there that would, I know we're looking at $25,000, but you're probably getting that much in credits
that's correct.
on change order credits. So I just
Okay.
keep that in mind.
Okay, because, you know, we get in and it seems like if we have a change order, it costs more, and a change order, it costs more. So if we get credits back and we had already allotted X amount of dollars for this high school to be done, and we can, you know, when you all were finished with the roof, I thought the whole roof was gonna be done, you know, and then when I went in and looked at the cafeteria, and that was a disaster. I thought, you know, you can't, it looks like an upside-down tent with a drain coming through it full of water. That has to be fixed. So if we've got contingency and we're not spending any more money than what we thought we originally were, then that's kind of a no-brainer, so.
Oh, very quickly, item 10 on the PR 29 is an $816 credit. Item 11 is a $9,194 credit, but 12 is a $12,000 ad, so that's a takeaway, right?
$1,200
Oh.
ad, yes.
Yes. So that'd be, okay. And
Yes.
then there's two, we're talking about the roofing repairs right now. There's one for the graphics that I don't have an account, but then there's item 15 is a credit of $18,680, and item 17 is a credit, there's a bunch of them, but you total them up and it's $7,374. So
Right.
well over $27,000 in credits.
Combined between both projects, yes.
Okay, great.
High school-wise, there will be a net add for the roof work, but majority of that should get offset from, I think you said PR 29's credit, PR 31's credit, to help offset that.
Okay. Thank you.
So maybe I'll circle back to the asphalt piece as we talk about the other change orders. So like Mr. Evans said, A16, no-brainer for a better way for us to put fresh air and air conditioning in the gym locker rooms. PR 31 is let's swap that. A16 is for no longer doing ceiling replacements in one part of the gym. The $9,100 credit is for a simpler way to run your ductwork in your gym locker room area. The current first add to the high school is an unforeseen vent pipe that they discovered when they removed a wall in the locker room for the girls' lockers, and they have to relocate and fix some of the plumbing so they can provide an ADA accessible stall. So that is the $1,200 add to the high school project. I can pause there if there's a question on that add. Okay. Then the other add is one we talked about now with PR 34, being the roof drain corrections, depending on if you want to just do the 3 or all 6. 3 being 7,500, all 6 being about 15,000, and that is a separate matter than the leak in the kitchen. To fix that, that is a 10,295 add to the high school project. If there's any questions about the roof scope, we can talk about the diagram I think you would have as page 5. It's a little color-coded of the roof. It has images of the flashing, images of the roof drains in question, but it also talks about the true scope of roof work in this project versus the work that was not in the scope, in case there's questions about that. But that would conclude all the high school line items.
Going back to the asphalt. So most of around the high school has been done.
Yes.
So this would pick up like at the end of the football field
Yes.
and cover the bus garage area, the road completely around OES.
Not
Not the new part, I'm sure.
Yes, it would be the road that connects like the gym face as it goes towards the high school, and the front parking of OES, but not like the off-road that goes around OES near the cafeteria, not that portion. But the major road that a lot of people go through just to get to the high school, a lot of that entire route would be repaved starting
The
from the
parking
field.
on that faces OES gymnasium also?
Yes,
All of that in there?
yes.
And you said that would be around 300K?
Yes, the about 360 is what a different contractor quoted. For it to be a change order, we would not go with that other contractor, because I know that Phil was trying to figure out how to do it outside the project. To do it as part of the project, Blaze would have to price it, and right now we're thinking it's about 360 for all of that pavement area.
Okay.
And that goes all the way to the main road.
It goes all the way to the main road, yes. The challenge with that, which is why we're trying to figure out if you want us to proceed with this, is we have to draw it. We just don't know if you all feel it's worth designing the entire route, knowing that it would absorb all of your contingency from both projects. Because LAVEC, that contingency money will be available as soon as, let's say, May or April. High school does not release its funds until after the June 30th milestone, maybe July 30th for final completion, which means you won't have your full $360,000 available funds to pay for the whole thing until the high school's done. And that timing is what's going to complicate how it gets paid. If that's not a problem, we'll go as far as you all feel. If you want to just only use the LAVEC amount, we'll do a smaller amount of work.
Start to finish on time needed to complete the project.
How long do you think, once drawings are available, for them to?
Because I'm sure we're going to have to block off the high school and not allow practice.
Well, I'm thinking you'd want to do this work during the summer.
Right.
Between semesters.
But if we're not getting money till July
But
1.
I would think 3 weeks max,
Okay.
maybe less. Depends on the scope of work. You know, you may want to take some of the asphalt out where, some of the major repairs. So that takes a little time, or if it's just to overlay, that takes less. So it just depends on the scope of work.
Is it too hot to do asphalt?
That's fine. I was just thinking about the start of school, make sure we were done
Yeah,
before.
no,
the-
I think you'd want to schedule it, sometime early July.
Thank you.
How much cheaper is just the overlay?
Well, it depends on the thickness, but than doing the mill, if you want to mill some of it, well, it's substantially cheaper, more economical. But I think some of the areas you're probably going to find you're probably going to have to repair, if it's got a lot of cracking.
Like there by OES, there by, in
Right
front
there
of
at
the
the entrance.
gymnasium?
Right, yeah. And your entrance, I would think you may want to mill that area because you have so much traffic Got a lot of heavy traffic coming in and out, a lot of twisting
Wouldn't be the same
of the
thickness.
tires and all that, so.
It wouldn't be the same thickness. If we milled only those areas and overlaid the rest, the thickness wouldn't match up, would it?
Yeah, if we milled it, yeah, we would make sure it matches, yeah. I mean, we would mill it and fill that in. Before, then we would overlay everything.
Oh, okay.
Is that-
So that would be substantially cheaper than milling it all.
Oh, yes, yes. Be much less.
So that would be an option,
Yes, to mill, yeah.
to mill and overlay.
Oh, yes.
A question on the overlay, like the bread trucks and the food trucks and the semis that drop off furniture in the summer, if we just overlay, would there be, after a couple years, big grooves? I don't,
No, it should be fine.
just as good as, okay.
Yeah, your structure is, your earth and your stone and all, that's where your structure is. Asphalt provides a smooth surface. I mean, it's got some structural value, but. no,
Well, I
it
just
should
knew
be
milling,
fine.
you know, you got your grooves, and so it's combining. If you're just overlaying, I didn't know if you had like, for lack of a better term, like a cushion top mattress, you know, you got extra, but is it those heavy trucks gonna sink, and then we're gonna regret doing it because we got big, deep tire tracks after?
Well, but, yeah, I understand, but,
I'm asking, I don't know.
right, no, you shouldn't have the grooves, no. If they compact it properly, get the right compaction, you know, we have it tested while they're doing the paving. We'll make sure they're getting the right compaction, just like you would on the interstate. You know, they pave one day, turn it over to heavy traffic the next. So you got to achieve compaction requirements.
Thanks.
So,
Is there a warranty?
is there a warranty? We can provide that in the documents. Typically, you have a year warranty, but Mr. Concrete required a 3-year warranty on the
At Crossroads?
Crossroads. Yeah, he sure did. That's the first time I'd ever seen that. But they did provide a 3-year warranty, and so it can be done.
Okay, thanks.
So for the asphalt piece, only because it's not an agenda item for the regular session, but more about figuring out how far you would like for us to go. Hearing the questions for David, it sounds like we should look at reducing the amount of milling. But
What we could do is we can make a recommendation. We could come out with the design team, and we could take a look. We'd say, hey, and we'd draw a little. Jonathan's very excellent on his design. We could show areas where we would recommend milling, areas where we'd recommend maybe full depth asphalt, and areas where we'd recommend overlay.
That'd be perfect.
If you would
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah,
you okay with
it
that?
would save
Yeah.
us money.
We could do that,
That sounds good.
and then provide a budget and
And then with a 3-year warranty.
whatever. Yeah.
And in doing so, the board, we all understand that would ultimately come with a price that almost absorbs all of the remaining contingency money for both projects, which, if that's the okay intent, that's how we'll proceed, unless we need to be mindful that we only want to work with a certain portion of the contingency monies to pay for the work.
I think it's important that we get that assessed, and then we'll make our decision, so we know what we're dealing with.
Okay.
The cost of what David just described of the
Okay.
asphalt project.
Okay. So let me wrap up with the pretty easy LAVEC ones that are on the agenda. So the first one being a credit of the unspent allowances for the general trades bid package of about $18,680 is the first one. Then the cluster that's next on the agenda for LAVEC are each of the direct purchase orders that were set up for bid package 90, which is, I think it's finishes, and then bid package 220, which is a lot of your plumbing and mechanical items, and bid package 260, which is a lot of your electrical scope. One way or another, they did not use all of the direct purchase order allowances, So for each one that didn't, they returned, 36 cents or $1,163. It's all itemized on your description, but ultimately, LAVEC has all credits coming your way. If there are any questions about that, I'll pause before I hit the high notes on the middle school.
If my math was correct, the total credit was $7,374.70.
For the direct purchase orders.
Yes, item 17.
Okay. Okay. So for the middle school, I'll draw your attention to, I'm not sure if it's in black and white, Mr. Evans, what was printed for the packet, but it's the one that tables
It's
out.
color, yes, sir.
Okay. So if you have all that in front of you,
It's going to be page 1 on that packet.
so when we reviewed it recently, we started with the major priorities being HVAC, anything else that could be done above ceiling for electrical upgrades, and we call it envelope upgrades, but ultimately that's just your roof. Those 3 line items, if I go more in depth about it, you'll go to your next page and look at your HVAC upgrades. HVAC upgrades does not include the geothermal well field idea. We just want to put it out there that if you are interested in the well field, we can estimate that it's about 1.1 million added, but I also understand, depends on the lifespan of the building, that you may not feel it's worth a geothermal well field. What is included are the full upgrades to your existing HVAC system. A lot of your classrooms have floor-mounted units that have some flooring that will need to get replaced once the unit's gone. Those same units penetrate the wall and have louvers that need to get infilled once that unit's gone. So that's what the masonry infill cost is, and the description of the floor finish is just everything responding to those kind of like 8-foot wide, maybe 2 feet deep units that are in almost every single classroom, and how we repaired the wall and the floor once those are gone. In addition to that, because we're doing a lot of the HVAC above ceiling, we're just including all new ceiling through the entire building, and then all of the mechanical equipment that support the HVAC has a line item, and then abatement for mechanical work, because we know that there's asbestos in the building. So everything you see listed minus the geothermal equals the 4.5 million HVAC upgrades line item. Going further, assuming that you all want to keep going with stuff above ceiling, now that the mechanical HVAC work covers ceilings getting replaced, the next item is electrical upgrades. So that's anything for your electrical service and distribution through the entire building, your wiring for low voltage, or security systems throughout, and power throughout the entire building, and then new lighting and increased Wi-Fi access throughout the entire building. So all 4 items then total to be 1.5 million. The third one being roof. The main thing to note out here is that for demo and for the new roof work, we had to assume that the new system would have to be the black membrane EPDM, just so that the budget is more realistic at 1.2 million, or at a total of 1.6 million. But if the board feels that they want to go for a PVC roof, like what the gym has right now, or a asphalt membrane that's called like modified bituminous roofing, just depending on the roof type, the cost will go higher. The current cost is assuming for like a middle of the road black membrane roof with shingles getting replaced and roof drains getting upgraded. That gets you to a total construction of about 7.7 million, and then a total project cost of 9.2 million. I won't talk through the numbers of the other items, but just to give you an idea of how there are other options on the table, If you all decide that you want to do some windows or interior door upgrades, those are covered under the envelope upgrades. After that, if you all decide you want to do more stuff above ceiling, the life safety upgrades means installing sprinklers and upgrading your fire alarm systems with the new sprinkler system. Lastly, we have accessibility upgrades, which Tim shared. They have ongoing issues with the elevator, and he had to go help rescue a student or someone who was stuck in the elevator, I think maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And so a cost to make sure that the elevator is all upgraded. And then the biggest batch that might be a challenge to kind of figure out how far you want to go is plumbing. Plumbing, we initially started out focusing on just the restrooms, but then after discussing more details, it was determined that the kitchen could benefit from plumbing upgrades, the art room sinks could benefit from upgrades, staff restrooms across the entire building could be benefiting from upgrades. So that 1.5 listed for plumbing is indicative of the entire building. If we want to go back to restrooms would get reduced from 1.5 down to basically 1.2. But depending on how far we want to go for that. I can go more in depth, but you let me know how you want to dive in.
Right now, we've got 7.1, is that correct, that we have to spend? So I think, what I'm thinking is that we definitely got to get started, because that money has to be spent before December 31st of 2026. And I'm not sure if everyone realizes that that's going to take us until December 31st of 2026 just to get this top portion done. That's just, you know, the main thing that we need on that middle school ASAP. Now, if that takes 2 years, that gives our bonding 2 years worth of growth. So instead of only having 20 million, or what do we have, 13 or 14 million right now?
We have around 12 in bonding, and then
12, okay. So our total right now is only 12. So if we waited 2 more years, which, I mean, it's gonna take 2 years before this gets done anyway, we would have maybe an additional 3 million maybe at that time. So then our 12 would turn into 15, and if we started another project and that project took another 2 years, you're still gonna grow another 1.5 million on top of that. So you're not burning down the bonding money of the school for in the event there's an emergency, because OES or Crossroads may have something come up that has to be done while this is going on. So I just wanted to point out that our bonding keeps growing as they're working on this project too.
So we would still maintain, within 5 years, we would still maintain the 12 million that we have now.
well, it depends on what you.
Well, not when you spent more, you wouldn't. You would.
You have we'll just make round numbers. You have 7 million, that's the state's giving. So when you look at those first numbers, the total project, if you just went with that at 9.2 million, that'd be 2 million, 2.2 coming out of our pocket. If you go down, like one of the things on there, the elevator's almost guaranteed we have to do it. It's in terrible shape. That's 300,000. Lincoln Theinert, our RSA advisor, he came by on Friday, and he says we're averaging 1 to 1.25 million a year. So every 2 years, about 2 million, 2.5, depending on how it goes. So that's easy to do the math if you just think $1 million a year. And so as you move forward, but if you get something, if we bottom out and get to zero, and you have we need to build an addition or something, it's going to be 12 million. It's 12 years before you could catch back up. So just think $1 million a year would be a simple way to do it.
I just do some numbers there. All right, so you got two totals there. If you, the 9,
Those top,
so if you got the 9.2 million, and if you take off the 7 million, so now you're down to what, 2.3 million of your 12. So, you know, you're at $9 to $10 million left. And, or if you take the 15 million and minus the 7, then you used $8 million of your bonding capacity, which would leave you, say, 5 million today, but it'll grow, say, $1 million each. So time is, if you did the $14 million project, you're probably, what, Jonathan, minimum three-year project. In design, I'd say you're looking at 4 years' time they do the design and get finished. So you're looking 4 years down the road before you would spend that $15 million. So, you know, you're probably going to pick up at least $4 million in additional bonding capacity. So if you're at 5 million today, you'll be 10 million, say, down the road, time this project was finished. If you spent the 15, if you spent the 9, if you only spent the 9 or 10 million, then, you know, that's going to grow. It's going to be more, so.
But the rabbit hole you have to go down into, if you just do the 9 million, that does not include windows. So then you've got a brand-new AC unit with leaky windows. And so that's what one compounds the other. So just so the board knows, Mr. Reeves said it, but windows are only included in the second scope, the alternate.
And the windows, are those the envelope upgrade openings? Is that what we're calling windows?
Yes, yes, it's combined with interior doors. That's why
Okay.
I said
And
openings.
so
is a-
that's the 1.7, correct?
Yes, for windows and door replacement in the interior, yes. Something else I'll mention when it comes to the scope at the very top, being HVAC and like roofing. When it comes to KDE and your DFP, those two are some of the exceptions to the rule where KDE normally would say, once you touch the roof, you can't touch that roof for 30 years or some interval. Same thing for finishes or whatnot. Those two, HVAC and roofing, while KDE would have a general like 20-year life cycle for expecting those things to last, basically there's a way for you all to readdress them again should they be just barely 15 years old and an issue with them, meaning KDE won't stop you from replacing the HVAC again or the roofs. They will be more mindful of you all not spending money on finishes and then turn around and spend more money to replace those finishes 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So there are rules for how long you can keep something and touch them up and replace them as they relate to life safety or keeping the building dry or structurally sound. In this case, you know, HVAC is justified as just more of like a health condition item, and then roofing would be more like keeping the building dry. So if you want to do it now, it doesn't hold you in for another 30 years. You all can touch the roof again. You can touch the HVAC again, because those are exceptions to KDE's general rule of how long something should last. So I think what we're looking for tonight on this scope item is how far you feel we need to go for outlining these on a BG1. As hearing that maybe it is important to swap something out that's currently listed for window replacement, or including just the 3 and elevator. We're just looking for what kind of direction you would like for us to list on a BG1 so that we can get this started, because timeline-wise, we're looking at, depending on how much the scope, like how many scope items there are, we can say that design, including time for the board to approve each step of the design, would be maybe wrapped up by the end of this year. And then that would allow for the contractors to have their bids at the start of 2026, and then it's pretty much expediting as many dollars of that grant to be spent before the end of 2026. The fewer things we do, the quicker our schedule can be. The more things we do, the longer the schedule might be.
Yeah, we need to get the 7.1 spent. And we have to have the work done in order to have it spent. So it's really important for us to make our decision on what we want to spend that on as quickly as possible, for the simple fact if we don't have it done, we will miss it and we won't have it.
I personally feel that the top three there, plus the elevators, we've got to do. And then, yeah, those have got, we all know those have got to be done. And that will take more than the 7 million.
Yes.
And then, I would really like to see the windows done, but we could do that at another project after those items are finished,
Yes.
correct?
Correct. There's definitely multiple ways we can do it. We could, let's say it's just the windows that are important, so maybe the windows become a designed alternate. And then we can work with David on figuring out how long those bids for the alternate window work are valid, meaning if bids are ready January 2026, and we know we don't want to proceed with the alternate for windows quite yet. I think there's like a 30-day, 60-day, how long can we hold okay. So there's a way that we could design it to where you all are not required to proceed with the alternate off at the start of the year, but maybe like in the springtime, you all decide to go ahead and include it as a change order to the project. That way it doesn't slow anything else up that the grant will go towards. But as more money frees up past the December 2026 deadline, with your your bonding potential going up, maybe that's other ways for you can pay for an alternate work.
Would that hold us a price guarantee, like if we are looking at it as an alternate and it's on the table, and if prices go up, then are they held at that quote or no?
Short answer is they are held to that quote. We'll just have to make sure that it's clear in the documents that's the expectation, is that there's a 90-day window or a 60-day window or something that they're aware of ahead of time that they have to keep and honor. But that's
Okay.
just something we can put in the documents so that they are clear.
That would benefit us to have it drawn up as an alternative to go on and do the windows with, as an alternate quote on there, like what you got.
Yeah, typically the bids are good for 90 days, so the owner has 90 days to accept the bids and the alternates.
Okay, so if he does a BG, we approve a BG one for the top three today, and we also agree to have an alternate bid for windows. That bid is only good for 90 days?
Yes. Well, you can ask them to extend it, but in the contract documents, it'll be in the bid documents, it's in there that it's 60 or 90 days, but we can put 90 days, that the bid's got to be good
So
for
we
90
would have to
days.
say, yes, we want to do it, or no, we don't want to do the windows.
Well, you
Okay.
should know in that period, you'll see the bids and you'll determine, do we have enough money? Do we want to go ahead and install the windows?
Okay, so
for
this is for
additional-
this first bid then, correct? Okay,
Yes.
because it is possible, not that it's
Yes.
really gonna happen, but wishful thinking here, that we could get these top three done for 7 million on the nose, and the windows came in 800,000. I'm just pulling numbers here.
Right.
And if that were to happen, it would be a no-brainer for us to go on and just do it, because
Right.
it came in low. Okay,
Right.
So that's one way. Another way could be that we intentionally do this first pass as the top three, plus the elevator, and then we intentionally make that phase one, and then at a different time, approve a different BG1 for a different scope item, and basically phase it out over a year, phase it out over a few months, however you feel. But we can prioritize whatever direction from tonight, that is the only scope on the BG1 base bid and alternates. We'll just proceed with that, and then we can talk about anything else you all feel is necessary. But I think it's basically including it now in the scope, making an alternate, or intentionally saying we'll bid phase one as HVAC, electrical, roofing, and elevator, and then revisit it early 2026 to see for what phase two could be.
So for clarification, in our construction meeting the other day, just the planning process, we talked about 6 months.
Yes.
So when we're talking about a 90-day bid, is that 6 months from now? Because if we did a BG1 and put the bids out now, we wouldn't even break ground till after the 90 days were up.
You're correct. It would be 90 days after documents have been out and shared with the contractors. So basically 90 days starting January 2026. If that is the bid date or bid time that we aim for, it'd be 90 days after that.
And the only reason I'm asking, we get in there and put a hole in the wall and find out, oh, here's a problem, it's gonna cost us $300,000 we didn't see, and we put the bid out, but we put it alternate, we may have to cancel then. Whereas not after we've started and like, oh, it's going great, we can, so we have to know that we still will be kind of hoping that the numbers are coming in
Yes, in terms
without
of
a change order.
Yes. The alternate piece, however far you all decide to think about it, if you decide to go ahead and do it on day 90, it would not be a change order. It would just be that you all are agreeing to that scope for however much it was bid for, full stop. If you all decide we don't want to make a decision now, we just don't take any alternates, that's fine. I've had projects in the past where the owner then decided to revisit an alternate and do it as a change order to the project. The gamble there is that it has to get repriced.
And the only reason, I don't know if I'm making it clear, I just want the board to know that we're looking at numbers that we expect. And so I think, I would want the windows in there if it were me. But if we say we're approving 7.9 million, there may be an issue that we have a change order and it's now 8 point something. So
Correct.
we won't know until we know. So even doing the alternate, we may get to that 90 days and still not know that we're gonna owe more money because we haven't done anything on the project
Correct.
to run into a problem.
Correct. I will only add that technically with any project, there's already a contingency set aside to handle discoveries.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be that you're adding more to the project. There should be part of the project cost that handles discoveries like that.
Well, I agree with Ms. Fraser, we need the top three, and from what we've talked about that elevator, we definitely need that elevator. And I think windows would be the way to go as well. But I want to save our money too, for the board, but I just want to make that clear.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, yes. And it's your decision, and I just want to make sure that we are all understanding the 90 days. There still won't be work that has begun within that 90 days.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that.
Also, I just want to make sure, because we have new board members, but when it rains, and Ms. Johnson, she can verify this too, when it rains really hard, and we've had a bad rain 2 years ago, where we had flooding over there in that middle school, and it came through those windows, didn't it? In those rooms that we walked through, they had like water, this much water in the floors of those rooms. What did he say? It was the furnaces that were in those rooms. That's because I can't hardly hear you, Tim. There were furnaces that are throughout the middle school, and they're in the classrooms, and I guess they're mounted like through the wall on the outside wall. So when it rained really hard, there were about six, am I correct, 6 classrooms that had water that was this deep in them. And it was coming through the walls where those HVAC.
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, it was the floor units in the individual classrooms. We've had, over the 18, 19 years I've been here, I've had probably 6 to bust and to flood the building. And 2 years ago, we did have 3, one in front of the building, one in back, and then one on the side next to the annex. And when they do bust, it takes a while to get that problem solved. So there was probably 3 or 4 inches of water in those rooms, but it didn't have anything to do with the windows. The most recent roof leak we had was 2 weeks ago, and it was from a screw that had pushed its way back through the roof, which we repaired that and went on.
Okay.
So there's,
The big flooding has all been caused from the heating and air system.
so there hasn't been issues with any water coming through the windows?
No, right now we do have some shingles that are coming off of the main part of the building. It's on the side of the hip roof facing the board office, the way the wind is hitting. We have repaired it, but those shingles are weak and it's blowed more off. We don't have any leaks that I'm concerned about on the flat parts. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have leaks, because we do have in every building that we have. You have to, contend with them. But, obviously, if you're giving me the option to replace it, then I'm, most definitely recommend that. But the worst part of that roof is the shingled area where the cupola is in the front entryway.
Where is the black mold coming from that's in the basement?
Repeat that?
Where's that there's black mold on both sides, when you go down on the right by the stage, and then when you go down by the kitchen, and it has that walkout, there's a walkout on the other side of the basement of that middle school, and there's black mold in all of it.
Only because I think I know the answer to that question. The black mold in both basement areas, we're talking underneath the kitchen or below the kitchen. I don't think it's directly underneath it, but
Right.
underneath there. And I think we've discussed that it's coming through likely the basement walls, and it could be a backup of the storm drainage that is aligning the perimeter foundation of that area, or it could be that just there's a weak point allowing water and moisture to go in. That's the first spot. It's basically underneath the kitchen. The other spot is, they call it I think, in-school suspension space underneath the gym or underneath the stage area. That one, I don't think we have a clear understanding if it is storm drainage around the foundations there, or if there's just another weak point. But those are the two spots.
And we have classes going on in the basement of that school with
Yes.
the black mold. And also down there in that basement, which I don't think anything can be done under the stage area, there is no other way out of that basement
Correct.
other than going down those steps. So if there was a fire, and we have kids in there, because we do every day, and if that doorway is on fire, there is no way for them to get out.
Correct.
The class that you have down there, Ms. Johnson, is there no other place in the building to have this class?
One of the major problems with mold in the classrooms is when we have the students' classroom work that is attached to the walls, and because of the poor ventilation of the heating and air, it will mold in behind whatever's hanging, whether it's pictures or classwork or whatever, because the humidity, you can't get it out of the room, and so therefore it'll mold in behind anything of that. And then the biggest mold problem is underneath the kitchen, like what she was saying, and we've had to close that in 2006 whenever I first came here. We've never been able to. We had a couple people come along, wanted to do some work, and turned it into a weight room, and we tried again, and it just, within a month or two, it was completely molded up again.
I want to go back to this Sterling Health. What area are they using?
If you're standing at the board, looking at the side of the building where the garbage cans are outside
Yeah.
there in that room right there beside the garbage can.
Couldn't they use the stage area or something? And put kids in a safer area of the building?
They don't have any mold in that area, ma'am.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the no way out, the down underneath the stage. That area, because like she said, if there was a fire and that doorway was blocked, that stairway was blocked, there's no other way out.
No, we have two exits out down there on that lower part.
They've moved to the classroom section, not pathways, I think is what you're talking about. Right. The
If she-
pathways, there is multiple exits down in the bottom.
On the right-hand side by the stage, and there only one way in, one way out.
Yes, and so I think
We have kids down there.
that's correct. Well, what Mr. Thompson is saying, one, the area below the cafeteria has been closed since I've been here. There's no students been there in the 4 years I've been here, and there's significant mold there. The area that's below the stage, we've had, and even had it done this year, we've had the air quality tested over and over, and it meets the standards. And so, but what happens is, what he's talking about, without a good HVAC, and it'll take care of it, you put a poster on the wall and humidity gets behind there, and that's where it grows, because, you know, good HVAC's like a dehumidifier. So once we get our air conditioning taken care of, it'll eliminate 90% of our issues. But I just want the public to know, we've tested that. We're not putting kids down there because it's tested and it's meeting the air quality standard. Is it the best quality? No. Is the quality in the building the best? No. That's why a new HVAC system would be awesome. So we're not intentionally trying to put kids at risk is what I'm wanting to know. I know. I just want I know you know.
Listen,
I just want the
know.
public to know.
We're not,
It's
and
not
that
a
wasn't
mold-infested
the
room.
intention of my statement. My point was that we are out of room, you know, at this middle school, and we're putting, you might as well say we're gonna put $9 million into this school, and we don't have a choice, because we're gonna lose 7 of it if we don't. And at the same time, we're outgrowing it, we're busting at the seams on it. I mean, where are we gonna be at 5 years from now when the student growth is completely gone? Are we gonna add on to this middle school? Because we already have kids in a basement with one way down and one way out. And because we're busting at the seams. That was my point. It wasn't that we're putting children in a bad spot or anything like that. It was just, you know, this is where we are.
I know your point.
Okay.
Anybody's watching this on the YouTube video, I just want to make sure that they
Right.
understand it.
But let me ask you this, you know, once we get the HVAC system put in, the side where you go down where the kitchen is, if the mold is better there, that's a big open room, is it not? I remember it being open.
It is.
Would it be an area where they could have classes on that side of it if it was better?
Yes, it can be used. However, it's going to cost a lot of money, and our 9 million is going to go up the more that we continue to add with it to that. But it can be repaired.
But this HVAC would help that air quality control of that area tremendously, would it not?
Only if you renovate the kitchen. Our kitchen is, you know, it's daily.
Okay.
We're operating day by day on the infrastructure of the kitchen, the plumbing, the drain, the water supplies, and the electrical supplies. So then that'll put us having to renovate the kitchen as well.
But if renovating that kitchen puts our kids, whether it's 2 kids or 50 kids, doesn't really matter to me. Because if you lost one is horrible. If it was due to a fire and we had them on the other side of the middle school. If we could use that other side where that has the walkout, it walks right out, and I think it goes up if I recall right. And that way they have a door, you know, they have 2 doors. They have one that comes back up through the school and one goes directly outside. It would be a much better option.
I agree 100%. I'm all for renovating it.
I just wanted, I mean, we have new board members that have not maybe walked through all of that and seen it and don't even know it. If I hadn't walked through it, I wouldn't have known the room was there. And I would not even know that it could be an option and what it would take to make that an option,
Maybe that would be a better option than the windows if they're not leaking
is to redo the kitchen.
in that area.
Yeah.
But Ms. Bowling, to your question, yes, the HVAC would address 90%. And then however far we need to go to renovate that space so it's usable for the program that's currently underneath the stage or another class, we can figure out, what the bare minimum would be to make sure that that's presentable and occupiable for them. But the HVAC, the new HVAC, is indicative of the entire building, including the kitchen area, so that should address most of it.
And there's no way to put a door in that basement to where it comes around to the other side where they could get out, is there?
Below the stage,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's pretty locked in because I think it's the locker rooms block them up, and then the unfinished, I think foundation conditions around the stage are just not, they're not occupiable for us to just add a door. So short answer is no, not underneath the stage.
Okay. I wish there was a way to make it all, that, basement to where you could get inside the whole basement through that outside or through the stairs going up to the school,
I mean, nothing's impossible, but to pour slabs, to connect multiple parts of the basement, to develop the walls, to make the hallway. We would also have to look at travel distances, meaning like you can't have like an infinite long corridor without providing exit doors out. So there are factors in there. I'm sure it'll be very expensive. The simple solution of just adding a door or adding a simple like connecting corridor, there's not an easy way to do that without
Okay.
doing full-on
Okay.
foundation work.
I just thought I'd ask.
I think yes. So we can definitely go about the refinement of what items are important here, or if you all would rather just think about it until the regular session and discuss it then.
I think that's what we need to do, Jonathan. I think we kind of need to discuss it among
Sure.
ourselves, and then we'll make a motion in the regular session.
Okay.
Item 5, discussion of policy 03.273, classified retirement.
I was contacted by Matt Cooper. He's a KSBA policy analyst, and he was working on another district and noticed a issue with their policy. So he has reached out to several schools, and he asked us if our policy didn't cover days, and we do. And so he was just simply notifying us that our policy is kind of out of alignment. He has sent me the updated alignment. It mirrors our certified retirement. So we simply, just to come online and be within the statute, have the first reading of this policy this evening, and then the next board meeting have the second reading. It does not change our policy in any way, how retirement is determined. It only clarifies it in the wording.
Item 6, discussion of the 24-25 school calendar.
This is just simply so that the high school can have a hard date and get their graduation set. We need to place 6 days at the end of the calendar. That means, as of right now, students would graduate on Tuesday, May 27th, and the last day for teachers would be June 3rd, 2025, and for staff. And we just need the board tonight to codify that and make a vote on it so that we can set our graduation date. Thank you.
Do we have any other business? Can't do that on here. Yeah, so we're adjourned. But we're in working session. Hey.
let everybody know that strike 16.
So you don't want her to make a motion?
No, items 16 and 15 are the same thing. We accidentally doubled. Oh, is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's fine. I was talking, didn't have time to I got the microphone up.
Call to order this Board of Education regular meeting, March 24th, 2025, 7 p.m., Bath County High School Auditorium. Item 2, discussion and possible action on tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to remove item number 16 from the agenda. It is a duplicate, same as number 15.
I second that, a motion and to approve the agenda.
I have a motion by Carla, a second by Eric. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Yes. Motion approved. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please take a few moments for silent devotion. Thank you. Item 4, Superintendent and Board Communication.
This time, Dr. Griffith is going to say a few words. He'd like to address the board.
Thank you all. Keep things real brief. I know you got a long meeting. Recently, our DLCs, SDLPs, and some of our tech people in the district went to KISTI conference. And I want to thank the superintendent and the board for continuing to make sure that that happens for our employees. There's development that we get at those sessions that we simply can't pay for here. The experts that come in that teach us about new GoGuardian systems and Ensure and Intune and so many things that are coming down the pike. We won't get that anywhere else, and so we want to thank you for continuing to make sure that our staff is developed in the best way possible. Also want to brag on our people a little bit too. We earned 2 grants when we were there, so we're very excited about that. So those will be going into the Crossroads Elementary and Owensville Elementary within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So that's it. I'll keep it short. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Griffith. I'd like to share 2 other good pieces of information. Good things are happening within our district. First, I'd like to recognize Miss Liz Watkins on attaining her doctorate degree. So, congratulations. And second, yes, well, I was, dropping the doctorate for the surprise ending, so she's going to make me call her doctor from here on out, and I gladly will. Second, just to let you know, our virtual and credit recovery programs have seen remarkable success this year, demonstrating the effectiveness of our dedicated efforts to support student achievement. In the fall, our credit recovery program helped 12 seniors recover 31 classes, 9 juniors recover 36 classes, 12 sophomores recover 62 classes, and 8 freshmen recover 18 classes. This success has been driven by a detailed progress monitoring system, strategic placement of top-notch teachers and interventionists, and a cultivation of strong, supportive relationships with our students. Ms. Donahue's recent presentation to Montgomery County Administration on our credit recovery strategies was a testament to the program's success, as she was invited to share our best practices to inform their future initiatives. Additionally, a significant highlight is the recent certification of our virtual teacher, Ms. Shannon Hill, who is now qualified to teach dual credit courses. This will provide our online students with enhanced opportunities to become both career and college ready before graduation. Currently, 66 students enrolled at our virtual program, with 4 students from our Dropout Prevention Initiative are set to meet their graduation criteria, marking another major milestone in their educational journeys. Great things are happening in Bath County, and I'm so proud of everyone that's involved. Thank you.
Item 5, discussion and possible action on approving the following items A through I. Minutes from February 17th, 2025 and March 10th, 2025. B, February financial statement. C, claims. D, superintendent expenditures. E, grants. F, travel. G, use of facility. H, review of all monthly financial reports of all funds. I, pay bills through March 31st, 2025. J, discussion and possible action for approval to accept bids for the following services: occupational therapy, speech language pathology, physical therapy, orientation and mobility therapy, diesel, gas, fire, alarm services, fire extinguisher services, elevator service, propane, student and team pictures, school signage, alarm monitoring services, pest control services, cleaning services for hood ranges, concessions for the 25-26 school year. K, pathways, memorandum of understanding. L, student fees for Bath County High School.
I'll make that motion to approve 5A through 5L.
Second.
I have a motion by Carla, a second by Eric. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Yes. Motion carries. Don't have any public comments. 7, discussion and possible action on first reading of policy 03.273, the classified retirement.
I'll make that motion.
Did you make the motion?
Eric made
I'll
the motion.
second.
I have a motion by Eric, a second by Carla. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. 8, discussion and possible action to amend the 24-25 school calendar.
I'll make that motion to amend the 24-25 school calendar. Do we need to put on there May 27th for students?
Shelley, do we need the dates for in that motion to amend the calendar? Yes, they're May 27th for students and June 3rd for staff.
Teachers. Okay. So I'll make that motion to amend the 24-25 calendar, and students' last day is May 27th, and staff or teachers is June 3rd.
I have a motion by Carla, a second by Kim. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action on approving the contract with Clearly IP for phone services.
I'll make the motion to approve the contract with Clearly IP for phone services.
I have a motion by Carla, second by Ashley. Any discussion?
Now, what is the IP phone services for?
Dr. Griffith can explain it in greater detail, but it's something we have to renew.
For sure, I'll be glad to answer that. So the current phone system provider we have is Windstream. Anybody in here ever had to call one of the buildings and can't get through because the phone is having problems? Raise your hand. This happens all the time. Windstream says it's not their fault. Our phones are 14 years old. I doubt anybody in here has a cell phone that's 14 years old. We have a managed phone that we're using right now. So part of the problem is the phone's 14 years old, the gateways that speak with it are 11 years old, and a lot of the connectivity things are 8 years old. So Clearly IP is a phone provider for what's called Voice over Internet Phone, VoIP, which is basically everything computerized. There is some upfront cost to purchase the phones, but the nice thing is our cost is going to be 50% monthly what we're paying on our phone service right now with a 99.7% uptime.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action of change order proposal for PR 29 gym soffit replacement credit of $816.88 to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG 22-376 renovation project.
I'll make that motion to approve the credit for the PR 29 gym soffit replacement credit of $816.88 to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG number 22-376 renovation project.
I have a motion by Carla, a second by Kim. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, discussion and possible action on the change order proposal for PR 31 gym locker room ductwork modification credit for $9,194 to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG 22-376.
I'll make that motion to approve the change order proposal for PR 31 gym locker room ductwork modification, $9,194 to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation PG number 22-376.
Second.
Have a motion by Carla, a second by Eric. Any discussion?
That is a credit,
That's
correct?
it. It's got a minus.
I know. It has a minus, so is it minus or is it credit?
It's a credit.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, discussion and possible action on the change order proposal for PR 32 unforeseen vent pipe relocation in girls' locker room shower at a cost of $1,273.71 to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG 22-376.
I'll make that motion to approve the change order proposal PR 32 for unforeseen vent pipe relocation in girls' locker room shower. Add $1,273.71 to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG 22-376.
I have a motion by Carla, a second by Kim. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13, discussion and possible action on the change order proposal for PR 33 graphic panel reduction for gym lobby and gym concessions to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG 22-376.
I'll make that motion on the change order proposal for PR 33 graphic panel reduction for gym lobby and gym concessions to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG 22-376.
Sorry, Ms. Bowling. I have one clarification for that one. That one's not an item on your packet, PR 33. That was intended to be, but we didn't have it priced in time. So there isn't anything you will all have quantified yet for that PR 33.
So it would what?
PR 33 is not in your packet. It was trying to be, but we didn't have the pricing in time. So there isn't a direction available for you all to take until we get pricing for that line item.
Okay.
It was sent in as an item and got on there, and then the pricing arrived too late to give it to
Correct.
you.
So we just let that die for lack of second?
Yes.
So we'll just table it?
No, we
Just let it
just
die.
let it die for lack of second.
Okay.
Item 14, discussion and possible action of the change order proposal for PR 34, owner requested roof flashing and roof drain repairs to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG 22-376 renovation project.
I'll make the motion to approve the change order proposal for PR 34, owner requested roof flashing and roof drain repairs to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation BG 22-376 renovation project.
Are you doing the 3 or the 6?
I think that's what Mr.
Can we clarify how far we need to go with the roof drain work, knowing if we're doing all 6 or if we're just doing 3?
Yeah, we need to discuss, do we want to do the 3 that we know of, the 2 of the 3 that are leaking, or do you want to do all 6?
Let me get a second and then we'll discuss.
I'll
Okay.
second
Go
it so we
back.
can have discussion. I said I'll second it so we
Okay.
have discussion.
I have a motion by Carla, a second by Eric. Any discussion?
So if you all look at that page with Blaze Enterprises on it, the top one is for the 3 that are leaking, which is 7554. The 3 that are not leaking, which are the same age as the other 3, is 7187. In addition to the flashing above the kitchen area, which does have to be fixed, and that's 10,295. So 10,295, the bottom number, and this top number are definitely have to be fixed, because we have water pouring in those areas. This second one in the middle for $7,187.50, those 3 pipes are the same age as the other 3, with 2 of them already leaking. So what they're asking is, while they're here, do we want them to go on and update and upgrade these other 3
But
pipes?
they're interior where the others are exterior.
No, there's 2 exterior on the top, and then the 3 are interior pipes underneath. Is that correct?
I thought he said the other 3 were interior, and the ones that were leaking were exterior.
No, so in total, there's 6 that would get their exterior roof drains replaced and interior liners and repairs done. So no matter whether you do 3 or all 6, they're all going to get an exterior correction and an interior correction to them. It's just figuring out, do you want to focus on the group that currently have issues, or do you want to go ahead and make all 6 of them, considering that they're the same age, all updated?
What would that do to the warranty of the roof if we did all 6?
So you wouldn't get a warranty for the roof. You would get a warranty for the completed labor install for the roof drains themselves and the liners that go on the underside. So there would only be, and I can send this email out after I find out what the manufacturer recommends, but it wouldn't be like a 20-year roof warranty. It would be whatever the product warranty is for that new roof drain, which likely might be, I don't want to give you the wrong number, but it's probably under 5 years for the roof drains getting replaced. If you're interested in a whole comprehensive warranty, then we would have to look at re-roofing the entire area, which would be more money than what's currently on the table.
So do you want to do just the first one and the last one, or do you do all 3?
Can I make a recommendation on this?
Yes, sir.
Let's repair the 2 that are leaking and cross out the remaining 4. For us to fix them in-house is about $1,500 a piece. They may never leak, but if they do, that's what it'll cost.
To simplify that down, that means option 1 would be the
Option
intent.
1 is definitely where the 2 of the 3 are. And then the last one is where that ginormous
It's gotta be
hole
fixed in the
that has an upside-down tent draining all the water into a bucket
So
in the
option-
kitchen.
Amend your motion to include option 1 and option 10.
Okay, so I'm going to amend that motion. I'm going to,
And Carla, before you make that motion, I think maybe you're going to include that amount for that option in number 1 if you're doing 2 pipes.
can.
Right.
so just include
Just
the
a
amount.
suggestion.
Okay. So we're going to make a motion to approve the change order proposal for PR 34, owner requested roof flashing and roof drain repairs to the Bath County High School HVAC renovation, BG number 22376 renovation project for option 1, 3 roof drains, which totals $7,554.35, and also including the flashing above kitchen area at $10,295.96.
Second.
I have a motion by Carla, second by Eric. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, discussion and possible action of the change order proposal for BP 030 general trades unspent allowances equals $18,680 credit to the Bath Layvac Phase 2 BG 22-520.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order proposal for the BP 030 general trades unspent allowances, which equals $18,680 credit to the Bath County Layvac Phase 2 BG 22-520.
I have a motion by Carla, second by Kim. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 17, discussion and possible action on the approval of change orders for unspent funds associated with DPOs DP 090-01-01 metal studs, insulation, drywall equals 36 cents credit, DPO 090-02-01 paint equals $1,163.27 credit, DPO 090-03-01 ceramic tile, a $7.51 credit, a DPO 090-04-01 VCT flooring and vinyl base at $196.19 credit, DPO 220-02-01 plumbing and hydronic materials equals a $10.77 credit, DPO 260-01-01 data, fire alarm, access control equals a $5,996.60 credit to the Bath Layvac Phase 2 BG 22-520 renovation project.
I'll make that motion to approve the change orders for unspent funds associated with the DPOs, DPO 090-01-01 metal studs, insulation, drywall, which equals a 36-cent credit, DPO 090-02-01 paint, which equals an $1,163.27 credit, insulation, drywall, for a DPO 090-03-01 ceramic tile, which equals $7.51 credit, a DPO of 090-04-01 VCT flooring and vinyl base, which equals $196.19 credit, DPO 220-02-01 plumbing and hydronic materials, which equals $10.77 credit, DPO 260-0101 data, fire alarm access control, which equals $5,996.60 to the Bath Lavec Phase 2 BG 22-520 renovation project.
Second.
Have a motion by Carla, a second by Eric. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, other business.
I have a question. We don't have on here where to, yeah.
That's what goes under.
Oh, is that what goes under? Here's the middle school?
We can do that under other business.
You can do it under other business. But
Okay.
we didn't have it as an agenda item because we didn't
Okay.
make it part
So-
of the scope.
We want to make, so, what do we want to make this? To take bids,
Do the BG one.
to do the BG one for the middle school? Okay, so we want to make a BG one to approve the top 3 items on the base scope of summary, plus the elevators in that base scope of summary. Then we want to make each one of the alternate scope of summaries an alternate scope with the envelope upgrades, the above ceiling life safety upgrades, and the plumbing and finish upgrades. But the plumbing and finish, we do want to include the kitchen in that as an alternate. Is that what we're going, we all agree with that? Okay. So I'm going to approve the BG1 to include the base scope of summary, which will be the HVAC upgrades, the above ceiling electrical upgrades, the envelope upgrades / roof. And in addition to that, we also want to include the elevator on there as the base scope of summary. Then we would also like to have an alternate scope summary with the envelope upgrades for the openings, the above ceiling life safety upgrades, and the plumbing and finish upgrades, including the kitchen.
I'll second that. So I have a motion by Carla, a second by Barbara. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to go in executive session pursuant to KRS 61-810-1F Superintendent Search Personnel.
I'll second it.
Any I have a motion by Barbara, second by Carla. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to come out of executive session with no action taken.
Second.
Have a motion by Barbara, second by Eric. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? We're adjourned.
Adjourning?
Oh. I want to say.
Break out discussion.